Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Bell. Today I have with us Shrujana Praveen, who is a student at Parsippany High School, and she's here today to talk about her Gold Award for the Girl Scouts. I'm very excited to be here because this is quite an accomplishment. So, Shrujana, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your project's about?
My name is Shrujana Praveen, and I'm a junior at Parsippany High School, and I've been a Girl Scout since I was a kindergartner.
A kindergartner.
Yeah.
Wow. A daisy, right?
Yeah,
A daisy.
Daisy.
Okay. Okay.
I think community service has always been like a big part of my life as a Girl Scout, and that's really what motivated me to want to pursue it for so many years, and now finally get to the point where I'm doing my Gold Award.
Wow.
I think like the biggest part of my Gold Award project is how it impacts the people around me even after I'm off to college or in the
Sure.
future. So I wanted to make sure that I pick a project that ensures that it affects people for the longest time. So
Yes.
that's why I chose my target audience to be the youngest generation of children in our community.
Wow. So that inspired you, or what inspired you to do this particular project for your Gold Award?
Yeah, so I'm sure as you heard, there was an 8-year-old boy who was unfortunately in a pedestrian crash last summer.
Littleton Road was tragic.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
So
awful.
I think that heartbreak was really something that I wanted to turn into something more than just that.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make sure that if I could do something about it, I took steps to make sure that I didn't hurt any other children in the
Sure,
future.
sure.
So I think
It's
that's
a
really
great
what
idea.
motivated me.
That's a
Yeah.
great idea. So I guess what we're talking about here is road safety then, right? So, what do you what's important about road safety, from your perspective now, other than the fact that, we don't want anybody else to be injured? What's important about road safety, and what are you doing with road safety?
Yeah, so I feel like in school we learn so much and road safety isn't really something that's a priority.
Hmm?
And
Yeah.
while like the police officers and firefighters come in every year to like give an assembly, I feel like it's not really a topic that's addressed as much outside of that and
Yes.
maybe like a little while in health class. But
Hmm.
other than that, I feel like within schools
Hmm.
it should be emphasized more. And that's why I really wanted to make sure that I do a project that teaches the younger generations of children in our community about the basics of how to stay safe on the road when crossing the road or riding bicycles on the road because I think that's like just as important
I
as
think you're
learning
right.
the other things we do in school.
So can you walk us through the steps you've taken so far?
First I created the idea for my project, which was to create an awareness video for the 3rd to 5th graders in our community and for them to watch it, understand the basics of road safety, and then answer a few questions just to make sure that they understand everything that I taught through the presentation that I'm putting together.
Let's stop a second. So who filmed this? Like, how did you get this started? Like, who the actual the filming of it? You said like you had a movie, like.
Yeah, so I'm going to be recording the awareness video soon.
Okay.
So it's like a little like role play where
Mhm.
like students who are watching it can see like what steps they should take to cross the road or where they should ride their bikes where it's safe and the steps to take in order to make sure they don't get hurt. And then also like little scenarios to show them like as an example of what
Sure.
they can do to practice it and make sure that everybody around them is safe as well.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be recorded soon,
Oh,
and I've
excellent.
created the presentation aspect of it
Hmm.
where it's more of like the actual steps on how to stay safe, and
Sure.
then the video will elaborate further on that where it shows the students how to exactly put that into practice.
Wow, good for you. What challenges have you faced so far as you've been going through this project?
Yeah, so I think the biggest part that challenged me earlier on was making sure that I have community support.
Hmm.
So I think it's really hard to get word out about a topic like this because
Sure.
everybody kind of just thinks like, oh, like you look both ways and you cross the road. But
Hmm.
like it's really not put into practice as much as people would assume.
Sure.
And so I think the biggest part was like getting people to understand that this really is as big of an issue as I see it
Sure.
because people have gotten hurt, innocent people. There have been so many accidents just within Parsippany, within our side of town even,
Yeah.
where people have gotten hurt, and it's genuinely something I think is preventable, because if
Sure.
people
It is.
gave it the importance that it should be given from a younger age especially,
Sure.
I think it's genuinely something that could be prevented in the future, and it will just impact our community a lot less.
So, what steps are you planning on taking to get this project underway?
Yeah, so one step that I've already taken so far is I've created a petition.
Okay.
So I got signatures from adults within our community, our Parsippany as a whole, and then other neighboring towns as well, because the road where the incident happened last summer wasn't just within our town. It's part of a larger road that goes throughout many areas. So I made sure to get signatures from people in our town and neighboring towns to
Okay.
gather support to decrease the speed limit on that road.
Oh, wow.
So I think the biggest part of that road is that it's in a residential area, and according to New Jersey state law itself, the speed limit on such a road with residential housing near it or like small businesses should be significantly less, somewhere from 25 to 30 miles an hour. And that specific part of the road where the incident occurred last year was 40 miles an hour is the
Wow.
current
On
speed
Littleton
limit.
Road.
Yeah, so I think another thing is like, since that's such a busy road with so many people and there's businesses there, there's like a lot of like crossing on the road and people, there's just a lot of activity there.
Sure.
So I think when people are coming onto the road really fast, like off of a highway or wherever it like stems into the road, they're already going so high and there's not enough signage on the road or just not enough signs for people to be able to tell that they need to slow down because they're entering an area where there could be a lot more activity than they would expect. So I think a place to start is to take a place where there's a lot of activity and make sure that the road is made safer for the people who are living there or that are just there.
So you've had a petition now with signatures on it. What's the next step?
Yeah, so I think where I want to take it is I want to bring it to the town hall and use my petition as a base of proof that the people in our town do want to see change, because I've gotten over 600 signatures so far from people in our town and neighboring towns and a lot of support from what has happened last summer. And I think it's just made everybody realize a lot more that like although it's like crossing the road, it genuinely has such an impact on the people that we know. And I think it deserves that kind of.
And I think that the town council, the mayor, the town council, they're very supportive of the schools and they're very supportive of the kids and they really want to keep our kids safe. So I think that is a good next start. How has this experience changed you and helped you grow as a person and a leader?
Yeah, so I think as a Girl Scout, I've always been inclined to helping my community, but this has taken my leadership to the next level because I've had to communicate with people of higher like status, or not even status, just like they're higher up, and I have to communicate with them to ensure that my cause is seen as just as important as anybody else's. And I think with like town council, like they receive so many requests of things to change in our town, and this issue itself was given so much priority because it hurt a child in our town and it's something that genuinely could have been prevented. And I think because of that, people have started to realize it more. Now with my petition going around, I think people have seen it as like a real cause that we need to pitch towards fixing. And I think the more priority it's given, the more it'll grow and people will start to understand that more.
Strength in numbers, that's for sure. So what have you learned about civic engagement so far now? Like if we have a listener out there that's looking to maybe do something similar, advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I think for anybody who's listening to this, my biggest piece of advice would be you shouldn't wait for somebody else to take that first step to bring the change, because
that's absolutely right.
I think that there's a lot of things that we can each do to take a small step towards bringing change in our own community, and that could start in your own house. Like recycling is such a big thing, and that starts with each one of us pitching in to do it. And I think no matter how large of an issue it is, we can all take a small step to bring change to it, and I think that's what really motivated me to do this project.
That is so great. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners about this project, about your journey so far, about what you've learned, about your experience in the Parsippany Community School District?
I think that I'm genuinely so grateful that everybody that I've asked or come to for help has been so supportive. My teachers and my Girl Scout troop leaders and my fellow Girl Scouts.
What's the name of your troop?
Yeah, so I'm in troop 6441 and my troop leader is Poonam Iyer, and she's been my troop leader since I was really young.
Since the Daisies?
Since the Daisies,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that is so great. And she stayed with you the whole time?
She stayed with me. She's given me so much support and advice throughout this whole process.
What a wonderful person. How many people started out in the Daisy troop that are still there?
So when we started out, I think we were a group of like maybe 15 Girl Scouts,
Okay.
and then we had to we split because a lot of us moved away to like other towns.
Right.
And so we split and then we like joined with other troops later on. So like we're around like 10 right now. So not everybody stuck around, but I feel like those of us who did stick around,
Yeah.
I think it just shows that we genuinely do enjoy serving our community.
And you like one another.
Yeah, we do. We're really close.
You're like tight knit unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all juniors.
Yeah, we're all juniors, one sophomore, but we're all really close friends.
Wow. What a great organization. I mean, it's just great. And it's great to see your family supporting you in this endeavor. You know, that's what I would strive to impress upon people is that, family support is unmatched. If you have family support at home and everybody's on the same page, you're a product of success, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Oh, I
And
definitely
I can't
couldn't
stress
have
that
done
enough.
without it.
If anybody's watching, family members, parents, look at this is the product. When you put in the work, when you care, when you're kind, this is the work. This is the product. It's unbelievable. My daughters were in the Girl Scouts. I have 4 daughters. Two were in the Girl Scouts. Shout out to Troop 38. But they stopped. The organization disbanded. But I was upset about that.
Yeah, I think no matter what, like whatever they did learn in their time with the Girl Scout, that does really stick around with you forever.
They learn to be kind and compassionate and helpful, just like you are. So I tell you, it's I can't give the Girl Scouts enough praise and I can't give the troop leaders enough praise for the time that they put in, the volunteer time. It's just fantastic.
Definitely.
So is there anything else that you need from us to make this successful? What can we do to help you make this successful? We have the podcast. Is there anything else we can do? I'm telling the mayor and the town council you're coming, so they know, right?
Yeah.
What else do you need us to do?
I think the biggest thing is just a little help with circulating my petition more because I think for town council to take up any petition request, like any requests to bring change to our community based off of a petition, they expect anywhere from like 800 to 1,000 petition signatures. So I think circulating my petition would definitely be something that can help. And then after the awareness video is recorded, I think sending that to local police departments and making sure that that gets circulated in police departments and other elementary schools, even beyond our own communities, so that it reaches as many students as we can. Because I think at the end of the day, while we are doing this in our town, it should be extended to as far and as wide as many students as we can because...
So your initial when we first communicated via email, you had a link for your petition, right?
Yeah.
So we sent it to Parsippany High School, correct?
Yeah.
So the next step may be to get it out to the rest of the Parsippany
the rest
community.
of the Parsippany.
Okay, if you could resend that email, and I'll talk to the Board of Education. They're going to see this, and I'm sure they'll support it. They don't. They really. They're there for our students. So.
Yeah, I think I'd love to. My advisor for my project is my high school principal, Miss Carucci, and she's also been incredibly helpful, so patient.
One of the best, that Miss Carucci. Yeah.
And I think one of her ideas as well was that I should maybe bring it up with the Board of Education as well because I think they also prioritize a lot of things that the students are doing. They're so supportive with everything that student endeavors bring to the table. And I think if I were to bring it to them, I think I'd be able to bring a lot more change to our community as well.
You know, what I would recommend is our next board meeting is on May 22nd. When you come to the board meeting, there's an open public session to talk to the public. You could get up and you could talk to the board and let them know that we've filmed a podcast and then you can ask them, about that petition. I think that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, perfect.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Shrujana, anything else?
No, that's it.
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Bell.